Four comedians, they're also real good friends, working on jokes, the fun never ends. They're asking each other, is this anything?
All right, should we get going, guys?
Absolutely.
Get
All right,
going.
We'll do it now.
All right.
Hi, we have a Patreon. Patreon.com/ITA-pod.
ITA pod.
I'm Rob Ryan.
I'm Anthony
My handle.
Kapfer, and we have a
Rob Ryan
Patreon
rocks.
for the podcast if you
I
like it.
am Jarret. Patreon.com/ITA-pod Berenstein.
Ever since high school.
Brett, have you heard about our Patreon?
I haven't. Well, tell me about it.
Well, we have bonus episodes on there, and you can give any amount of money that you want monthly, and it helps.
Even as low as $1?
Even as low as $1, and it helps support the.
Even as
show,
high as
keeps it-
$100?
Even as high as 1,000 if you want.
Whoa.
There's no limit.
Tell me people can't give us more than $1,000.
You know what? Actually, they can. I misspoke. You could give $1 million a month if you wanted to.
In all seriousness, we do have a Patreon. It's on patreon.com/ITA-pod, and it really helps us continue to make the show. We have individual content that is only for patron subscribers. We have a high writing challenge, right, with Jarret. We have a Halloween episode out special as well, plus a bunch of others, I'm sure, that we've come out with since we recorded this episode here. So if you like what you hear, you'd like to support us for as little as $1 a month, you can help us a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Anthony, how have you been since the last time we saw you?
So I've been trying to release this a song for like a little over a month. It was supposed to be called "Spotify Robbed Me Blind," and it's like around 40 seconds. And the whole song is just about how Spotify doesn't pay the artists, and it's telling the audience that the only way that I will get paid is if they listen to the song on repeat every night while they sleep, right? So, and this was supposed to be the artwork. So it's like it's got my name, it's a Spotify Robbed Me Blind, and it's got like this little sort of Spotify logo. But not really. So they wouldn't let me call the song that because it has Spotify in the title.
Right.
So I changed it and I did this. It's got like a little asterisk, and I put a $sign instead of the S.
So dollar sign for S, and then what is the asterisk replacing?
The O.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that still didn't work. They didn't let me do it. So I changed the name of the song then to a particular streaming service robbed me blind, but the artwork was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
then,
like to imagine one guy on the other side of this being like, "This fucking guy."
like, come on, dude, you can't do it.
Hey,
I know what you're doing, asshole.
You want to get some lunch? I'm still working on the Kapfer accounts. Really?
So I thought that would do it. I changed the name of the song. I tried not to. I wanted the name Spotify in the title, but I had to change it. But because the logo still kind of looked like Spotify's logo, they in the email back, they were like, the pink Spotify logo has to be changed. So I changed it. So now you can see it's a particular streaming service, Robbed Me Blind, and then I changed the logo. Instead of those bars or lines or whatever, I put dollar bills.
Okay.
And I just got an email that
saying,
apparently
"Fuck you."
now it's okay. It should have come out weeks ago.
That's awesome.
And
This is like
so-
a Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd cartoon.
I just think it's so fun. And it has to be over 30 seconds. Otherwise, you don't get paid. Did you know that? If you have a track that's under 30 seconds, they don't even count it as a play. And you'll never get paid for it.
Wow.
Because a band already tried to do something like that where they had an album of 4-second tracks. I think it was just silence. And they told their fans to stream it on repeat. But it's also what I also think is funny about this song is that it's like very loud and aggressive. So
I was going to mention that if you didn't mention that. I wanted them to know that a really funny meta joke in there is that the song,
it's like a hardcore punk
hard
song.
rock punk song. So
I'm
it's like,
screaming.
play this song on repeat while you sleep. No one wants to do that.
So it's pretty ridiculous that I'm asking people to do that.
Spotify hardly pays artists, so I need a favor from you every day. Play the song on repeat while you sleep. I repeat, you will sleep, you'll play me, they'll pay me. Otherwise, Spotify will not be blind. It makes me want to scream. They only pay 0.00666 of a cent every time you stream. The song has to be at least 30 seconds or I will not be paid. I'm doing pretty good on time, but Spotify robbed me blind.
So,
So
guys,
I'm
if you
excited.
want to give Anthony Kapfer 0.0002 cents, go ahead and play his song, or you can sign up for our Patreon.
Yes.
You guys ready to workshop some jokes?
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right. Our order this week is Rob, Brett, Jarret, Anthony.
Ah, man, I knew I just had a feeling I'd be first. I really did. I had this I think it's because I feel a little like ill prepared almost, but that's why. I was like, all right. Okay, great. So I do have some joke ideas.
That's good.
Here's one joke that I wanted to bring to you guys. This also will play into this one-man show, so I'm back on that kick. So this is me trying to describe my depression at its worst. I did the no shower thing. I definitely, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you, no, showers are great. I love showers. They're warm and restorative, but when I was going through the worst of it, no thank you. Now, I think it's because the hot water running down my face felt like tears. So my brain was just like, oh, he's crying. Hey, Amy, send him the bad thoughts. And I'm just like, no, I'm okay. No, that's not what that is. We don't have to do that. That makes sense to me. Like, you know how people say to smile? Because if you smile, it can trick your brain into thinking you're happy. Well, maybe when there's warm liquid streaming down your face, your brain thinks it's a good time for a fucking meltdown. Those are the thoughts I have on that.
I think there might be. I love this. It's very funny. I think there might be room for. I was doing the no shower challenge joke in the beginning. It probably wasn't trending. It was just something I was doing. It was more of a personal challenge.
It was just a challenge to get in the shower.
There you go. There it is.
I had two things I wanted to throw at you guys. One is that you kind of touched on something that I was already thinking about because you kind of zeroed on warm liquid. Is that too distracting of wording for what I'm doing? Because I'm choosing warm liquid specifically because they're not tears, and so I'm trying to reword what I'm saying. That like when warm liquid is coming down my face, that's my brain thinking it's a good time for a meltdown. Because originally I wrote hot tears, but I was like, I shouldn't call them tears because they're not really tears.
I would say it's almost like you're tipping your hat that it is going to be a gross sex joke when you say warm liquid on my face.
So that's what it seems like to you, because it's not.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Well,
it's distracting because I think it's distracting.
Can you just say that your
I don't know,
body thinks that you're crying? It thinks that the hot water is tears?
I do. So try to hear me out. This is, by the way, for our listeners and viewers, this is a little more, I wouldn't say higher level, but certainly more scrutinized. This bit is pretty good, nitpicky, and yeah, you know, I think this bit is solid, and there's structure to it. Obviously, I'm not coming in with nothing, but I'm trying to get down to just the right wording. And the reason being is because I said I like showers, but I think it's because the hot water running down. This is the first iteration of it. I think it's because the hot water running down my face felt like tears. So my brain was just like, oh, he's crying, and then you send him bad thoughts, and I'm like, please don't. And then I kind of repeat. I said it makes sense to me because you know how when people say smile, it can trick your brain into thinking you're happy. Well, maybe when there's warm liquid streaming down your face, your brain thinks it's a good time for a meltdown. So do you understand why? I don't want to say tears because I don't have tears running down my face.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, but in the first version, you explain it a little more clearly. You say that there's hot water running down your face, and your brain thinks that it's tears. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's too wordy.
No, and I don't.
I don't, but I think. But
I'm repeating. Sorry,
I think the repetition, and that may be just because I'm a man of brevity myself. I think the repetition is redundant, and then does tip the joke.
I also think redundancy is repetitive.
I think the first description is really good, and if you just put the smiling thing before that, and then use the first description, then you've cut out words that are unnecessary, and you don't have to find a different word like melt out instead of crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why do you need to repeat that? Couldn't you just explain that your body thinks that it's tears, and so then you have a meltdown? Your body thinks the hot water running down your face is tears, and tells you that that's a good time to have a meltdown. Couldn't you condense it?
And not say anything about. Well, you said hot water, so I guess instead of saying warm liquid, you want hot water. It is what
just to be
like
clear, just in case, because Jarret said he thought that it was going to be a sex thing from hot liquid,
and that's my concern too. I think hot liquid sounds like a different joke.
I think it has the potential to make a couple of people in the audience think it's going to be a gross sex punchline. And that might take away from the punch that you want. But I'm also not so confident about that. I think that it is possible that you can get away with it.
It's why I asked, because I think that even if it's a fraction of a second, people are just like, what does he mean by that? That's why I wanted to pose it, pitch it to you guys in that way. But Brett is suggesting something which is like, I structurally changed the entire joke. I don't go for, let me explain it, back up a little bit, and then practically re-explain it again. Which is how I have it structured right now. Mm-hmm. I believe that's what you're saying, right, Brett?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Which is fun too. I think that could be a solution to this.
I also wanted to give you a line that maybe fit in there when you're talking about the first description. Your brain is like, oh, we're doing sadness.
That's funny. Oh, he's crying. Oh, we're doing sadness. Hey, Amy.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, send him the bad thoughts.
You remember that time when he was 6?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, the one where he's naked. Uh-huh. Just cold and afraid.
Cue the waterworks.
And we're in the fetal position. Excellent work, everyone. Excellent work. We did it. We're crying in the shower. Wonderful.
You guys, not me. That was you.
Let's light this candle, boys.
Can you call it waterworks somewhere in this bit?
Waterworks? Yeah. No, I'll write it down.
I do think that crying and being in the fetal position in the shower is a funny detail to add, but it also might be fun to explore how that's the reason why that's a trope. Is because... every movie that you see where somebody's like crying in the shower in the fetal position, it's just because once they get the hot water on their face, their brain goes into sad mode, and then it's just like, it's an avalanche. I don't know if that's elegant enough for the joke, but
that's why they call it waterworks.
That's what they call it, waterworks. I'm really excited about this premise, though, Rob, about you not showering when you're depressed, and I hope that in the rest of the one-man show you kind of flesh that out a little bit more. Just because as soon as you said that, I was like, Rob is such a great writer. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about that. I cannot wait to hear what no shower Rob's life is like.
What's weird is that I don't go too much into that because I just need to make room for other things that were going wrong with my brain. But it could develop a little bit more. One thing I was thinking about, and this would be a structural change to this as well, is that I jump immediately to what I think the solution, the real explanation is. And I was talking this over with someone else where I thought, because here are some of the real things. One, it would, if it was cold at all, I just didn't want to deal with it. You know, so like being in New York City anytime between November and like fucking April, it was just like, well, I don't want to. I'm gonna get naked and get into a cold shower. I'm not doing
the
that.
Second you are naked and not in the hot water is too much.
Yeah, and I was like, ugh, I just didn't want to. But these are reasons that people without just this debilitating, depressive state would experience, right? So I think the audience can be like, oh yeah, like I'm just offering possible scenarios, okay? Structure-wise, I'm like, it could have been that this, and I can get into that a little bit. It could have been that every minute that I didn't spend in the shower was another minute I could spend in bed. I mean, that was certainly true. I'm just like, oh God, I got, at work in an hour. I was like, but if I don't shower, I could probably get another 35 minutes in of sweet, sweet bedtime, something like that. And then go to, but what I really think it is, and then I lay out what I just laid out for you guys. Does that sound like,
I like
again, that. It adds stuff, but I am preparing for a storytelling one-person show, and I'm trying to let people inside my thought process in mind. So it doesn't have to be as tight as stand-up, but I was curious what you guys thought about that as a structure.
I like that a lot. I like that is a very relatable thing for me. When I'm in a sad place of like, I know showering feels good. I know I should do it. I'll feel better. I can't. I'm not going to do it because I'm here and it's over there. And that process is impossible. It's like, I can't.
That's probably the funniest way it's been put yet. Well, it's there, and I'm here. And that's impossible.
That's not happening.
Can you imagine just being able to walk to the bathroom and take a shower? Just like, wow, man, the strength.
Those go-getters.
What am I, fucking Richard Branson? What am I?
Rocky?
Yeah, exactly. I don't run triathlons. You expect me to get into the shower?
Right, is that wording that I can tinker with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I like you fleshing it out because that is, I think, a very, very relatable thing. And as soon as you're talking about it, I had the same instinct as Jarret, where I was like, ooh, I can't wait to hear Rob talk about this.
Cool. Okay, great.
And I think that's something that's so cool about one-man shows, where it's not just the story and it's not just funny.
But it's also the Patreon.
Patreon.com/ITA pod. I find that's the best Patreon to support. What about you guys?
But it's also interesting information. It's interesting information about, the real facts of what someone going through depression is experiencing. And also, every one of those points has the potential to be a little bit funny. When you go through, number one, here's the real reason, and then there could be something funny in there in the description or whatever. Number two, same thing. And then you actually go into the joke part of it, which is great.
But I think there could be multiple, these are all going to be joke parts, not like wanting to stay in bed. I don't know. Also when you're depressed, for me, I don't really eat. I don't know if that's, some people overeat when they're depressed, and some people, I eat when I'm nervous. I eat a lot, but when I'm depressed, I don't eat at all for days. So I don't know.
Sorry,
if
that's a really funny image of Anthony on a date. She's like, "Are you nervous?" And he's like, "No, why?" Candy bar wrappers everywhere.
Yeah. Stains on my shirt.
But up? Why? We haven't eaten in a week.
But I feel like there's got to be funny things about all of these different things leading up to the not showering, because it doesn't make it even because it's not a joke really about crying in the shower. But since there's so many jokes about crying in the shower, I like that. I like that there's so much more to this concept than just the idea of, of crying in the shower. Because you're doing something with it that is different than I'm sad and I cry in the shower. There's more there, but there's even more if you talk about the other stuff that you can't do.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's like, these are real. So to speak to your point, Anthony, a little bit, is like the first couple examples are real. So is the last one. The last one's me just really trying to like get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Like what's really going on. And when you're just alone, you're alone with your thoughts, you know. And I thought maybe I'm avoiding that to some degree as well. Like I'm just like, I don't want to go to the shower. That's where I think of all the horrible things. I don't want.
Yeah.
Why am I going to do that to myself? Type of thing. Great. I'm so glad that you guys are encouraging me to flesh it out more. If you remember, I've already got this thing where I talk about how I didn't understand what was happening to me at first, and that little voice in my head that started getting mean. You guys helped me out with that, which is really good. And this will be somewhere along those lines in that milieu. So that's awesome. Thank you guys.
I gotta say, Rob, I am so excited to see this thing when it really comes together.
Same. Yeah.
The show is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what are you writing down? Brett wants to be it.
But when I saw you do it, Rob, in February,
I was just drawing smiley faces. Like, ooh, that one made me feel good.
You had what, 25, 30 minutes of the show finished at the end of February?
At the end of February, before quarantine started, I was able to go to Denver. Anthony was gracious enough to have me headline on his stage, and I was able to get out like 30 minutes of it, which is what effectively is my act one now.
It was so good.
I really appreciate that, man. And now I have over quarantine fleshed out most of act two, and I'm kind of working on this act three now, which is the stuff that I'm talking with you guys now.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a great show.
This is just a drop in the bucket for when you start to make jokes about the other reasons why you're not showering. Is maybe part of it is like when you're in the shower, you kind of touched on it already, where you're like when you're in the shower, you don't have anything that can distract you from the bad thoughts. And so when you're on the couch, you got the television, you've got social media, you got video games, all these things, and the bad thoughts are just sitting there, just be like, that's the second. You get up to go to the shower. It's gonna be so sweet. I can wait. All right. I'll watch Breaking Bad with you, man. I don't mind.
But I've seen it before, and it ends.
Ooh, you're gonna have to shower one day, buddy.
I just take off like an overshirt. He's like, I'm like, don't you know? No, I'm not getting in the shower. Okay, all right. I'm just peeing. Okay.
It's a little bit like
I was gonna send you, one of those 6th grade thoughts when that girl dumped you. Like, all right, I know what you were thinking of doing.
You're like, I brought my phone to pee. I brought my phone.
It's a little bit like if you ever saw Treasure of Sierra Madre, when Humphrey Bogart goes insane and he's just waiting for the guy with the gun to fall asleep so he can attack him. So yeah, just something like that.
I love that. That's a funny thought. Thanks, man. Thank you all. This was great.
Awesome.
All right. Looks like it's Brett's turn.
Oh, yeah. The big boy of the East. I don't know.
The big boy
just
of
came
the
out.
East.
Brett's been
big boy of
workshopping.
the East, Druck.
Brett's been workshopping taglines for a while. On Social Distance Social Club, he was like, I'm the hottest girl
on the East Coast.
on the East Coast. It has a lot to do with where you live. Brett.
I say the first thing that comes to my mind, I'm like, I better end this with where I am.
If you want to change it up, this side of the Mississippi is another good one.
That's good.
Hack. I'd rather say something that makes no sense at all. Okay. I think I'm going to get a Harry Potter quote as a tattoo. But it's not going to be an important part of the Harry Potter books. It's just going to be like, Harry went down the hallway and turned right.
Then are you going to put the source underneath it? Like
chapter, page.
J.K. Rowling,
You know,
Order of the Phoenix, page this.
It's funny, when I wrote this joke, I then started thinking about like the idea of like being somebody who's really big on accreditation of citing sources and like being upset that people who have quotes don't have like a bibliography also tattooed.
It's on the other arm.
Like just turning them around like, where's the source on this?
Underneath it says "See other arm," and then you
This
look.
isn't even APA format.
I think it's really
funny.
I think it's really funny. I think another place you could go after you put out the original premise might be that you're going to get them in Chinese characters. So they'd be like, "Ooh, I love your tattoo. What is it?" Oh, that's just a quote from my favorite. It's a quote from Harry Potter that means a lot to me. It's loosely translates to Harry went down the hall and he turned right.
That's great. I like that format a lot. The only problem I think is I might. I don't know. It might work just to say I'm thinking of doing that, but there may need to be a justification as to why I'm going to do that. It's just a funny concept.
I was going to ask why.
Yeah,
I was.
It does feel like it's missing a why.
I want to get a tattoo.
Is there a real reason?
Oh yeah,
no,
is there a real reason?
I just was like that would be ridiculous.
I want to get a tattoo, and I feel like everybody has, but I don't want to do what everybody else does and get like a phrase that like is really meaningful to them. I'd much rather do something that's just like, I want to be different. Maybe that could be the justification.
Or maybe,
that works.
maybe
That's in line
you,
with me.
you want to be different, but maybe it's because you're a more casual reader, and the other people are like more hardcore. You're so casual.
Pretty funny.
That your quote is that he went down the hall and turned right.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Those are both good justifications.
The reference portion of this excites me the most, honestly. The fact that you're looking at other people, like you're offended. You personally, maybe you saw someone,
Right.
quote their arm, and you're just like, hey man, like where's that from? Like where's your? I don't get it. I say he's got quotes all over him, but I have no idea. Like I want there to be like a reference chart.
How do
on
I
his
know if
calf.
Gandhi said that?
Yeah, this is plagiarism of the body.
And if he could have his sources cited somewhere on his body, that would I really enjoy that.
If you don't have sources, then people might think that dude's pectoral muscle said that. I saw a very well carved out pectoral muscle once that told me that I should live, laugh, love.
It's sources about sorcery.
Nice.
Ooh, that's
I like that.
I don't know if we can work that in somehow.
I'll work
That's
it into this episode when it's published.
That is some kind of I would say that's some kind of sorcery, but then I explained that there's a U in there, so that everybody knows.
All right. When I see somebody with a tiger or a lion, my opinion of them greatly changes with what pants they're wearing. If they're wearing jeans, I'm like, this is a monster. This is wrong. If they're wearing khakis, I'm like, that's a wildlife expert. They're heroes.
Okay.
And if they're wearing tiger print, you're like, this guy is undercover and he's doing an amazing job.
Undercover. I like the idea that the pants that's all you need to know. But I feel like I want to know how you discovered that or why you believe that.
Well, I was watching a video of people who had animals as pets, and I saw a guy with jeans, and I actually thought that. Then I saw a guy with like safari type khaki beige pants. Then I saw a guy with khakis that had cargo pockets, and I was like, these look like just like Old Navy pants. And then I was like, but at first glance, I was like, oh, that guy should have a tiger. And then I was like, wait, maybe he shouldn't. So yeah, I was just really. There's nothing beyond that. I just watched it and I was like, yeah, my opinion completely changes based off of the pants. I know nothing else about the videos.
What if it was just casual Friday and he was wearing jeans and you're like, man, what a piece of shit.
What is casual Friday at the zoo? Do people just wear a suit? Oh, sorry. It's just opposite.
Maybe that's when they wear tiger print. Leopard print, tiger print.
I am concerned with the zoos that Rob has visited, where he's like, the zoo is the most casual business, is the most, people just work there in their bathrobes, so the opposite of that would be wearing a suit, right? I'm like, no, they wear uniforms. They wear zoo uniforms.
Yeah, but their uniforms are so casual. They wear like a little short sleeve shirt, maybe like a button one, and then they have khaki shorts. I mean, I'd kill to wear that.
You can, but no one's stopping you. Brett,
Yes.
small nitpick. I wasn't sure when you said monster if you meant like this guy is so hardcore, you know, he like has tamed a lion, you know. So it might be better. There might be a better word for that, where you're like, this guy is an animal abuser. He should not have an exotic pet. You know, those are so bad. You know, and then you go into the khakis and be like, oh, this guy's just a safari expert. He probably grew up in the safari. This is probably his best friend.
That's really funny. Maybe there's a direction to go with, like, is there any other job, or how would it be with other jobs where I greatly changed my opinion based on what pants you're wearing?
Comedians, if they wear shorts on stage.
Oh, that is true.
That's true.
But I feel like if you're doing a safari thing, I think of the hat. There's like that safari hat. So I don't know if you want to mention if you're going to say the word safari, I'm thinking of the hat immediately.
Well, I never said safari when I originally said it. I just said, you know, khaki pants, which would probably change to beige pants in hindsight.
But it might be funny to
if they were wearing the safari hat, though, you'd feel like, I mean, would that
even
not
more
seal-
justified.
Yeah, would you seal your like, oh, obviously?
If I saw a guy with a safari hat and jeans, I'd be like, that guy robbed a wildlife expert.
of his hat specifically, and maybe the lion. I don't know. I wanted to add this also. So we got jeans. That guy's a piece of garbage. Khakis. He's a wildlife expert. Lion print. This guy's undercover in the lion community. No pants. It's a beautiful relationship.
Boxing shorts.
Romantic.
It's Mike Tyson. Brett, small nip pick.
Wow.
Otherwise, I love the joke.
Small Rob.
I like that. If you're listening and not watching the video, Rob just took a picture of his nipple.
And he was a little exciting.
Just a small nitpick.
It might be funny to jump off of what Anthony said to when you see the khakis, you start to describe the process of continuing to look up, you know. And I'm not sure what the shirt or the hat would then tell you, but that might be a fun element to play with.
Oh, right.
yeah.
You look up and it's like he's wearing the khakis, but not the hat, or he's wearing the jeans. And you look up and he's wearing the hat and you're
Yeah,
confused.
I say khaki pants. This guy's a safari expert. He's a professional. That's great. But then you continue to look up and you see, shirt with no sleeves, and you're like, And then you keep going up and you see the safari hat, and you're like, no, he's good.
Oh yeah.
How
okay.
about-
No, I like that.
How about tight black leather pants? Oh, it's Catwoman. It's Catwoman.
I don't think Catwoman is down with big
Owning
jungle
tigers?
cats.
No,
I think
no,
it's mainly like
That's going to be a
I
stretch.
mean,
Yeah,
they don't
she should
specify.
be called House Catwoman, really.
Not big Catwoman. However,
Are you telling me she didn't like panthers and other large cats?
No, she did. Actually, there's a bad guy a bad lady in the DC universe who is like a cheetah. I think her name is Cheetah.
yeah, that's Wonder Woman's part of her pantheon of nemesis.
Yeah, and I think her and Catwoman do not like each other.
I stand by Catwoman.
I stand by Catwoman too.
I stand by House Catwoman.
House Catwoman.
I love that.
So
House Catwoman's great.
I put this out here there as kind of just like a whatever joke, but somebody who really enjoyed it was Zara Bending, who is an Australian wildlife expert.
Oh, really?
I believe she is. She's at least very knowledgeable on Australian wildlife. But
She at least has seen a cat.
Yep, that's what I meant. She greatly enjoyed it, so I felt like there's probably some merit to it.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
I think it's got
I love
legs, just like a cat.
All right, well, thanks, guys.
Okay, all right. Now it's my turn.
And you are
And I am Jarret Berenstein.
And since we've gone through 2 comics,
That's
it's
right.
time
I'm
to
going to say, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube.
Do the third comic.
Subscribe to the podcast. Also, if you're interested in the Patreon, we got a Patreon too. That's pretty cool. All right, here we go. Jarret Berenstein time.
All right, if we're gonna pitch the Patreon, let's not do it timidly.
Yeah.
I don't think it was timid. You know.
All right.
Playing hard to
Here's
get.
the rule. If
We have
Jarrett's
mentioned
going
it
to pitch
so-
the Patreon, he
Okay.
can't pitch it before he's about to go because he's so desperate and anxious to go that he's going to flub the goddamn pitch.
That's not what happened.
That's
No,
what happened.
We have mentioned the Patreon 1,000 times on this episode, and I do not think that we need an extended description of how
But we're
great the
doing it
Patreon
in
is,
such a funny way.
what it is. When we have a regular episode where where the bit is not how many times we mention the Patreon, I promise you I will do a better job of promoting it.
One just quick
Fine.
bit of business after we're done recording this episode. One of us should set up a Patreon. Because I feel like we're really going ahead of ourselves here.
Okay, here we go. This one is I got a very short one and a regular one. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. I've been getting into crystals lately. I mean, I shouldn't say crystals plural. It's just one crystal. It's just meth.
I love it. I was there with you though. So
Oh,
I was like,
did you get there before me?
me personally, if you weren't going to say it, I was going to be like, you know, it sounds like crystal meth, right? But that's me. I don't know what Brett and Anthony were feeling. And you know,
I
I
didn't
was
think of that.
just, I try to enjoy the journey. I don't try to think about where we're going to end up. That's just me.
I
Are
love it. That's
crystals
very
a
funny idea.
gateway to crystal meth, or is crystal meth somehow a gateway into crystals? I don't know.
I think when you recover from crystal meth, you then get into crystals as like that's your methadone, you know. Your sponsor is like, there's other crystals, you know. There's other crystals.
I guess my point is that if I heard Tom Cotter saying this joke, I think that he would say, I'm not religious, I'm mostly spiritual, I'm into crystals, meth mostly, and he would just get in and out, and that would be the Tom Cotter approach to this. And I think that that's where this joke lands for me. I think that's the way to
I
do
love
it.
that delivery. I agree.
100%. I am with you. That was how I originally wrote it.
Oh,
What I have discovered.
Bullshit.
Every one of the notes I get, this whole section. I like that note. That's how I originally wrote it, actually.
I somehow made it worse.
And then one of your jokes, I'm going to be like, oh, I wrote that too. I wrote that too. What I have discovered from the years that I've been doing stand-up is that if I have a joke
yes.
that doesn't work, me specifically, with my delivery, with my stage persona, if I have a joke that doesn't work,
I can give it to Tom
almost-
Cotter and he'll pay me for it.
It is almost always because I have not held the audience's hand through the joke enough. And so part of the reason why whenever I'm doing my setups, I love to repeat things and I do like to sort of like hammer things in, it's because like earlier versions of that joke didn't work because I just got there too fast. And if you guys know my material and you know my joke about the vagina eating the baby during the birthing video,
Great
that
joke.
joke used to be way shorter and 20% as funny. And the more I stretched it out and led people along, the better
like-
the joke got.
The baby did to that vagina.
Yeah, I agree that you probably shouldn't be playing it to me or someone like me who is just like constantly, running the
What's the
permutations of
punchline? What's the
punchlines.
punchline?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'll try it.
I-
I'll 100% try it the quick way instead,
I've had regular audience members yell out punchlines of mine
That too. Yeah.
before I get to them, and I don't think that it's necessarily only a certain kind of comedian that is going to guess the. I think some audience members are smart enough, quick enough that they're going to be able to guess it, and so.
When that happened,
it's-
Anthony, were you at first like, oh, a fan? And they were like, no.
No, you're just lazy. And that's never a fun thing to have to deal with on stage, because it's like, maybe it's a new joke or whatever it is, but like they call it out and the whole room knows that your joke is a little lazier than the rest.
I had a woman do this to me twice. I was at comics and I was part. It was part of the competition, like whatever, 2 years ago.
Oof.
And I'm doing my thing, and I know because as the way Jarret's describing, I'm aware that okay, if I say it this way, I think 60% of the audience will like it or get it. But if I do it this way, now 80% of the audience will like it, get it, but maybe 10% will now be ahead of me. And I'm kind of like keep on moving this matrix around to be like, how many words do I say so that enough people, I refer to it as like lily pads. I'm like, here's a lily pad. I just want just enough so the jumps are hard, but they don't drown, but it's not too easy, all that crap. So like pick your metaphor, but basically that was my thing. And I have two jokes that I know for a fact that I am trying to be more inclusive about. So I'm leaving more of those lily pads. And I do the first one and I hear her and she fucking says it during my pause. Like I am pausing for comedic effect and she fucking says it. And I was like, yes. And then whatever. It was loud enough for everyone heard it. I'm moving on to later. I say another one. She guesses another one. And I'm like competing. I'm so furious. And I say to her, I said, hey, look, as the second guess, but there's a second punchline you guess. So come on the road with me or shut the fuck up.
That's great.
Perfect.
That's great.
And the audience loved it. And then I wound up winning that contest. It was like $2,500 grand
awesome.
prize, and it was great. But
Wow.
I was fucking, it was like, oh my God, shut up. I've got
Did you win it or did she?
Yeah, just split the money.
I'm the judges. No, there's nothing in the rules that says an audience member can win the contest.
I do some version of that.
Is that
too,
an
I
Airbud?
think.
Airbud
reference?
yes.
When somebody guesses the joke, I think I've done this a couple times where I'll be like, oh, okay, so do you want to finish all the jokes, and then I'll give the next premise, and then I'll stop and I'll be like, all right, how does this one end?
That's great.
And that's sort of how I turn it into a kind of fun. And I'll pick like a really cerebral joke that, maybe they won't even be able to make the connection once the punchline has been said. They'll be like, what the fuck?
No, what you do, you just do one that you don't even have a punchline for.
Yeah.
And if they get it,
It's a made-up joke.
like,
Yeah.
you could be like, yeah, that is what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And if not, then you just go, not so fucking easy, is it? And then you never finish the joke. Rob, I know this isn't how your story was going to end, but I really wanted you to look down and it was like a fortune teller, like putting out tarot cards, And then just like, shows up the punchline. The spirit's cool.
I haven't had this experience where people have yelled out a punchline of mine.
Bullshit.
But that sucks that you guys have. No, but I have what I'll have is somebody between my jokes will go, that was funny, and then I'm like, yeah, well, I've been up here for like 7 minutes and you didn't say that about any of my other jokes, so what the fuck? And then I'm like, all right, well, if you're gonna chime in, you better do it for the rest of the show, or shut the fuck up. Like, and then sometimes I'll just look to him. I'll be like, nah, I don't know if that was funny. You didn't say anything, so was it funny? I don't know.
That's great. These are all great responses. Like Anthony, yours is so tailored to your set act because you do have these one-liners, so you can get away with doing that. And Brett, I feel like I've heard you either tell this story before, or I've seen you do that. And it's just such a funny way to respond to that, for sure.
Yeah. And it is funny because both of your responses are so tailored to you as well. I totally see that, and they're great.
Do you guys think there's anything that could be added on?
Oh, Jarret, it's your turn.
To it.
Hey, what's up, Jarret? What's going on, man?
Story time.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
For more
All right,
stories
Anthony's
like this.
turn.
I do think it would be really funny to. I'm just playing with the idea in a different way, but I'm picturing a person getting caught smoking crystal meth, and they're like, I'm spiritual. This is holistic medicine. This is a crystal.
I'm recharging the crystal.
Yeah, I'm recharging.
I just really love the energies that I get off of meth. spiritual. I don't know, something there. There might be a fun link up. Maybe I need to look at YouTube videos of people talking about their crystals and see if there's a way to do a funny analogy there.
Right.
Have you ever done crystal meth?
Oh, thousands of times. But
What, you got some?
No, have you though? You haven't, right?
I have not. It's funny. Another comic who you can be about the name, so I can tell the story. Was like partying in Atlantic City with some of his friends who gave him meth, and he went to the bathroom and told them afterwards how much he took, and they were like, "You just took a ton of meth."
Oh man,
that dude's heart is gonna explode. But anyways,
You do not have to edit out his name. I'm certain that is in his act.
Oh
I've heard
yeah,
him-
yeah, you're right.
I've heard him tell that story on stage.
Yeah,
Oh,
all right.
okay.
You can edit out the part where
And
I
it's
say
funny.
that. You have to edit that out.
I'm gonna leave that in, and I'm gonna edit out you just saying that and me saying
Excellent. Thank you very much.
this. I'm leaving it in.
Okay.
Hey, this doesn't help your joke at all, but do you know what Mike Tyson says when he knocks over a crystal vase and it shatters?
What a meth.
Crystal meth.
What a...
Mike Tyson
And
is,
you're like,
he's almost happy
Sorry.
about it.
Crystal meth.
mess. I made a crystal mess. That's not that outlandish. He's a weird guy.
true.
All right, here's my other joke, unless you guys had anything else for that.
No, but I really like that joke.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it
Oh,
too.
I did have something else where you could potentially name, if you're trying to set up like a structure, you could name the crystals. Like I like tourmaline for this, and I usually keep a quartz for that, and then meth, of course. That's
Yeah,
for
when I
me.
want to dig
right.
holes in my lawn.
But is it?
yeah. They each serve a purpose.
Or when I want to take apart a Xerox machine.
But isn't the setup? You say that it's just one crystal, right?
Yeah, but it could be changed.
So you would
It could
alter.
be changed.
Yeah.
that's
I do
fine.
like that
crystals.
because then I don't think people would see it coming as
That's
as
true.
much.
It might get me off the scent as well. I like to dig holes. Take
Yeah,
apart a
that's going to be
machine.
my what do you call it? My litmus
Get
test.
into a fight with a
is
mailbox.
whether or not I can trick Rob into not seeing where the joke is going.
I am good at it. Pretty good at it.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at guessing jokes. I don't know.
Who's better at guessing jokes, you or that lady in the audience?
If you had been in your audience, would you have been able to see where you were going? Okay, here's my second joke.
I'm gonna guess this joke so fucking hard.
I can't wait to start this. One of the surprises.
Casablanca.
One of the surprising consequences of being governed by incompetent Republicans is that they have made being anti-establishment extremely lame. Like, anarchy used to be fun. It used to be rock and roll. The man's trying to get you to wear a helmet and a tie. No shoes, no shoot, no service. But now the government's like, do whatever you want. Buy 1,000 guns. Cough in your grandma's mouth. We don't give a fuck. So now being anti-establishment, being rock and roll now is like wearing a mask and respecting minorities and protecting the post office.
That
I love that.
so predictable. No, that is such a great finger on the pulse of a reversal of cultural change. I love that so much.
Yeah,
The
it's
more
crazy.
the more imagery you can throw in there of like somebody taking care of their sick grandma, like rock and roll, bro.
Fuck the president!
I'll be delighted by all that.
They're just like,
I just voted. Yeah, that's all I got. Unless you guys had any more ideas for that one. I'm glad you guys like that premise.
yeah, that's
Such a good premise.
That's a great premise. I love it a lot.
I feel like there's an Ozzy Osbourne eating the bat. Iconically, there's somewhere to put that in. I don't know if he's doing it.
Eating a bat? Come on, bat?
Come on.
I'm sorry, eating the pigeon.
No, it
Dove,
was a bat.
dove.
No, it was a bat.
It
yeah.
was a bat.
it was a
That's
bat.
how it's so perfect. I wasn't contradicting you. I was saying
yeah.
that's a great That's a
Yeah, I
great
thought I just
idea.
was like a me not having music knowledge thing. I was like,
No,
sorry, it was
no.
a cat. It was a dog. I don't know.
He's already guessed
Ozzy won't even
everything.
eat. Ozzy won't even eat bats anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. That's
Not very
that's such a
responsible,
good.
is it? Very civic-minded. I'm not great at accents.
But yeah, but I
Yeah,
was,
I
I was
love
thinking of
that.
somebody maybe like coming off of jury duty and then eating a bat.
I like Brett that you earlier said like, oh, I thought maybe my lack of music knowledge because you don't know what bird
Yeah, it might be animal knowledge that you're missing.
that he doesn't eat. Oh, I don't know. I'm not big into music.
What
I'm
kind
not
of
big
pants
into
are you wearing?
chickens.
What kind of pants? Okay.
I'm not big into music. What's the one that has the long neck? I never listen to the radio or anything like that. You know? For this one, you know what I'm talking about? What band is that?
Is it the
Monkeys!
Partridge Family? The Eagles?
Arctic
I have no
Monkeys.
idea.
The monkeys, Arctic monkeys. What are we doing?
Speaking of, Ozzy Osbourne is actually very sick. I don't know if you guys know that.
Is
Heavy
he?
metal poisoning.
Heavy metal poisoning.
Yeah, it's really
That's-
sad.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Rob can't be with us anymore.
I thought it was real because actually Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath is actually very sick. I think he has
I know.
cancer
From heavy metal poisoning.
from heavy metal poisoning. Yeah.
Anthony Kiedis is also really sick from drug overdose. Heroin.
Heroin.
Not heavy metal.
I'm not a big music guy. Is that this one? With the tying off and the.
That's good. Consider subscribing to our Patreon.
All right, that's it for my time. Thanks so much, guys.
Nice jar.
Those were good ones.
Anthony
Excellent
Kapfer. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I have some.
Yeah.
Have some jokes. I am Anthony Kapfer, and just want to remind you guys about our Patreon, patreon.com/ITA pod.
Maybe we should
bonus
change the
episodes.
name of the podcast to patreon.com/ITA pod.
That's a good
Bad
idea.
idea.
We should just change
Welcome to patreon.com/ITA pod.
Please subscribe to our Patreon. Is this anything?
it. we changed. I love that. That we changed the. All right, that's great. I got this one. I get a lot of anxiety from all of the constant notifications that pop up on my phone. So sometimes I leave my phone at home and I go for a nice long walk, and then suddenly all of my anxiety becomes about how I left my phone at home.
I like that. For some reason, whatever jumped into my mind immediately was, I don't know. I'm still imagining that you're missing the notifications, and you're just begging people to notify you about things, but like in person. Hey, what's the weather? Is it 63 degrees out? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Has there been any news? Any breaking news?
Do you like this?
No, leave a comment.
I do like that. Is that enough of a punchline? Like, obviously, I'm trying to make it sound like all of my anxiety goes away, but then saying
Yeah.
that it becomes.
only thing-
But did you guess that, Rob, or any of you guys? But specifically,
I
Rob?
only guessed Jarrett's jokes, guys. Why are you keeping bringing this up?
It's your superpower. You can only guess Jarrett's.
Only thing that I was thinking of is if there was a way to word it that strings people along even more.
Okay.
And I also think that Rob's addition could be like a tag. It could be like you do the first part as written, and then you talk about how you start freaking out, needing the things in your phone. You just keep on going up to strangers and asking them for the things your phone would be doing.
Yeah, I love that.
In the setup, you're saying my anxiety goes away, right?
In the setup?
Yeah.
No,
You're saying Okay, say it again.
I say that I get a lot of anxiety from all of the constant notifications that pop up on my phone. So sometimes I leave my phone at home and I go for a nice long walk, and then suddenly all of my anxiety is about how I left my phone at home.
Yeah, I feel like you can maybe misdirect a little bit more by saying something like, in order to make my anxiety go away, I leave my phone at home, and it goes away to where I am on my walk.
It goes away. It goes with me.
Yeah, it goes away from home and to me, wherever I'm going.
I don't know.
I forgot my phone at home.
I don't know if this will help, but I often feel like when people are talking about that when they're being sincere about that, they'll do things like, and as soon as I get out in nature, I just feel a wave of serenity. And so maybe you can do like, and as soon as I get out there, I just feel a wave of anxiety about not knowing where my phone is or something.
Yeah. Or you could change to panic, just so that it's a slightly different word.
My
Just a wave of
anxiety
panic.
just turns into panic.
I like that. I love the idea of my anxiety turning into panic.
Yeah.
Because that ups the ante a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. This is unrelated, but I had a joke that I stopped doing because it wasn't hitting very well. But it was about when I was addicted to painkillers, about how I had to take them every 6 hours, and I just, if I didn't, I would feel miserable. And then one day I woke up and I didn't take anything, and I went for a run, and maybe like 15 minutes of the run, I felt like kind of okay, and I was like, man, imagine if I was also on painkillers. This would feel amazing. But I think it's just the reality of the painkillers thing was too real for people.
I remember that joke, and I love it.
I like that joke. That's good.
Well, you guys should have been my audience.
I was many times hearing that joke. I was there. I was in the room.
Cool.
There's something else for some reason that I was thinking about. Just because it's wordplay, and I don't know, maybe there's some room for this. But you say you leave the phone at home, and so that makes you panic because the phone is left at home. And then my mind jumped to, is there, for some reason in your brain, would it help if you didn't leave the phone at home, but you still left it separate of you? So now I leave it at restaurants, or now I leave it at, because I just didn't like the fact that I left it at home. But it's only because I think you worded it that way. So I was like, oh, maybe it could be weird and leave it somewhere else, but I'm not sure if that.
I wonder if it could work.
Logically makes sense.
If I first, I leave it how it is, leave the joke how it is, where I leave it at home, and then because I'm still panicking, I'm like, okay, I can't leave it at home anymore. Now I have to leave it at the bus stop or whatever, restaurant, or to see if that will, if that'll help. I don't know if that's.
That would cause you more anxiety than leaving it at home, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
But
Well, that's why I was thinking.
At that point in the joke, we're just being silly. It seems like.
Yeah, and I don't know if both would work, but I do kind of like the idea, because I think it has to be that I leave it at home for the audience for there to be any potential where they're not going to guess where I'm going with it. I think it has to be left at home, because nobody feels relaxed leaving their phone anywhere else but home.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying you would feel more anxiety leaving at the bus stop, in that it's a nice transition into, I think, an Anthony Kapfer style of like, so the joke keeps going on.
Oh, okay.
So now I have to come up with a new solution, because leaving it at the bus stop was giving me more anxiety. So now I'm, putting it in a blender. I don't know.
Right. I like that.
Nice. Yeah, I like those are good notes.
Yeah, without going too crazy, the changing to panic thing and that sort of act out of the, I just felt this, that would get people off the scent for sure. I like that.
Cool. So I have another idea, assuming I still have time.
Probably.
This is I don't have this worded like a joke yet. This is just kind of an idea.
Bats.
Just walking in the hallway and turning right. Is there something?
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I got that actually right here.
I had this idea that maybe we are, like, human beings are kind of a collection of interests, of things that we took up after bad breakups. So
Oh,
like if you look
okay.
at an old photo and you're like, oh, that's me from 3 years ago. I was really into boxing at the time, or like just something slight. I mean, I don't know. Boxing seems odd to me, but maybe not to everybody. But just
Like,
the idea
Breakups are
that
the only reason why hobbies exist.
you're always looking for a new hobby after
Yeah.
after a
This
bad
sounds like a
breakup.
joke about the perspective of a Facebook algorithm. Human beings are just a collection of interests. This really got me there.
That's funny.
Aren't we just algorithms when it comes down to it?
That
think
premise is excellent. I love that.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential. It feels like it's a Anthony Kapfer style puzzle, but right now we're just like trying to connect the dots a little bit.
Yeah, even I don't know. Usually I have a better idea when I bring it to you guys, but
God, I really wish that woman from Rob's show was here. She could really help us find the punchline.
but do you think there is something there that we're just a
yeah.
collection of those
That's,
kinds of
that's great.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever learn another language if they didn't just go through a breakup? You know, like something like that. Like,
I do have. Sorry to bring it to me again, but this does seem like it's going. With Jarret's direction is going towards the territory of the joke that I have, which is that people who are successful are only successful because they have a lot to prove to an ex. So everything they've accomplished is a reaction of that.
Oh, right,
I don't think
okay.
Anthony's original premise is there, but I think that does go into that territory.
yeah, it
what's that thing
could.
again?
But
But the premise is that I'm not intimidated by successful people because every successful person I've met has just had a lot to prove to an ex.
yeah, and so
I
so
think all their
yours-
accomplishments are just because they had something to prove to an ex.
Did you know, fun fact, that before breakups, women only had one hairstyle?
I was going to try to work bangs into it. That was when I had
That's really
bangs
funny.
and I started wearing frilly shirts. Just,
maybe there are countries that would have no tourism if it wasn't for breakups.
That's funny.
Well, you ever look at like like India, arranged marriages, not a whole lot going on with the hair there. Everyone's got pretty much.
half the time you don't even need to see it.
So, like, once arranged marriages stopped being a thing, that's when there was a proliferation of hobbies, hairdos, something, whatever.
Something else that starts with H.
Heroin,
Are there hobbies that are
hobbies.
jealous that they're not the ones that get picked when people go through a breakup? Like
Ooh, this
ice
is fun.
sculpting with a chainsaw, you know? They're just like, Becky, that guy was a jerk. Why don't you turn this ice block into something? You know, it's like, I don't know.
yeah, everybody just
it's
does
regional.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anybody do chainsaw ice sculpting?
CrossFit. That's good. I had a lame thought about CrossFit because I saw guys at the gym, or guys across, like, I want to work out my shoulders, but I'm not like loud enough. Like I want people, I want there to be rope just slamming down and be like. That's all I really had about that. I don't understand the rope thing.
don't
Yeah.
either.
What if you're looking at like an album with somebody, and instead of them being like, "Oh, when did you get into rock climbing?" They're like, "Oh, who did you break up with?"
Yeah.
Or like,
Who
broke
broke
up
your
with
heart
you?"
when you started doing this stuff?
Yeah.
I will say that to avoid, some of my more depressive fits, because I could generalize this thought into any kind of like, I got to do something with my sad unoccupied brain cells right now. So I love that it's just breakup because that's very clear. But I will confirm this for just like any times that I remember I was getting into anything to be like, let me just occupy my mind in some way.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I think that I think it's true that it probably works for any kind of depression. But I think for the sake of a joke, I think
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's a
agree.
little lighthearted,
like
more
that.
accessible. Just break up.
You meet a woman. She's like, "Oh, you know how to axe throw? You've been hurt."
Who hurt you? And then like,
Yeah, tell me about that.
Veronica.
I used to teach pottery classes, and every once in a while I would go up to one of my newer students and I would look at their pot and I'd look back at them and I would go, "Who hurt you?" And they always cry.
Could it be like the going with the idea that you're looking at maybe a photo album or whatever? Somebody's like, oh, like they're like, oh, when was this taken? And you're like, that was after Becky, and like you're using it as the time instead of like, it's the reference. You're like, oh, that's when
That's from AB.
Huh?
That was taken in AB.
After Becky.
After Becky, yeah.
Maybe it's like you don't refer to your exes by their names, but by the hobbies that you took up after them. To try to forget them.
There you go. That's something.
Oh, who's that girl in that picture? Oh, well, you know how I know how to mountain climb? That's her.
I know how to skeet shoot. Yeah, that was skeet shooting.
You like all your lanyards?
Carly.
Yeah, I like that. That's I guess that's sort of it's a better version of where I was trying to go with it. Using it as,
I think that's really funny. Just referring to your exes as the hobbies that you picked up when it ended.
Yes.
Like there's a picture of me and old rollerblade, competitive rollerblading.
But it's interesting too, and I want to throw this in here. Like, you also do wind up picking up interests with the person that you are with. So it's like you get an interest from the girl, and then you pick up a hobby after you break up with her.
Yes, but you have to drop. You usually drop some of the interests. Like, there's always bands you can't listen to after you're in a breakup. So it's like you meet the person. You have all these new interests, you have all the stuff that you share, then you break up, and then you're like, fuck Modest Mouse. And then I'm never listening to them again. And
I just had an image of somebody like trying to shoot skeet and then just crying and just I can't do this anymore.
So it's a combination of the things that you can't do anymore and then the new stuff.
I'm imagining
there's a whole
Modest
show
Mouse in a I'm imagining Modest Mouse in like a sales meeting. They're like, too many breakups, guys. What do we do?
Our sales are tanking. This was a bad quarter for us.
For some reason, the only way people discover Modest Mouse is when they get into a relationship, and then when relationship ends, they then lose that fan. Or they lose both of them, because neither of them want to... Oh, maybe? Yeah. I don't know.
One of them had to get the other one into it.
Yeah, so it's almost like a stasis. It's almost like energy that can't be created or destroyed.
Well, it's like somebody gets the Friends, right? So it's the same thing. Somebody's getting the record collection, and somebody's getting even just the enjoyment from some of it. TV shows, movies. There's like all kinds of stuff. It's like she got Breaking Bad. I just can't. I can't even watch it anymore.
This happened to me when I first got my heart broken with stand-up. I had just started doing stand-up, and my first girlfriend used to come to the shows with me, and then I actually was like really... I couldn't do stand-up until I threw out my whole... I had like a solid 8 minutes. I just threw it out, and that's when I picked up the guitar and started doing weird alt comedy.
Two things that I thought you guys would think were funny. Number one, I dated a girl who we went to a lot of bars that would play like current club hits, and then those became the songs that would remind me of her. And so it was like,
then you proposed to her.
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, and I'm like, oh, the whole club is looking at her. That's number one. Number two is, I actually had a similar experience where I went through a bad breakup once, and at the exact same time that was happening, I was at a very precarious point in stand-up where things were getting... It was no longer new and exciting. but it was also, I wasn't established enough for it to be, for me to like get those opportunities that you only get when people know you and stuff. So it was like stand-up was also trying to break up with me at that time. You know, I was like interning at Broadway, and my spots were always at like 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, and I was being brought up after the Bringers, you know.
Damn, I had to work my way up to that.
Yeah, who wants to do an outro?
Not me.
Anthony.
Also not me.
Oh, damn it.
Rob? He froze.
That was great, Anthony. Thank you so much. And thank you guys all for,
You
for
froze
listening
just as he
and for
started.
watching. You can,
You
know,
have to
follow us
start
on-
over. You have to start over. Sorry, Rob.
Did I just
You
freeze?
as soon as I went, and how about you, Rob? You went,
I thought he was kidding.
and then we all started cracking up, and then you just sped right in with everything you had just
All
said.
right, that was great, Anthony. Thanks so much.
Damn it. So weird. It's like it knows. All right. That was great, Anthony. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for... Did I do it again?
No,
Oh,
it was just funny.
disingenuous.
Jesus Christ.
I'll do it.
All right, cool.
Okay. All
He
right.
always
Thanks so much.
sounds disingenuous. So
Yeah, it's not going to register.
I'm just kidding.
It's not going to register. Everyone's going to be like, "This is Jarret being an asshole again."
I can't help you with this.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us and helping us with all our jokes. Subscribe, tell your friends, leave comments, get involved. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ITApod. And I'll see you guys next week.
And then we cut to Jarret doing the same thing again right now.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check back for more individual clips and full episodes every Monday, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to support the show and get access to special fan-only content, go to patreon.com/ITApod. That's ITApod, as in Is This Anything Podcast. Relevant links in the description. Take care.